Hello again, quite a weekend of football coming up once again. And once again, I've been joined by Charlie Nicholas to look ahead to it. And no question about the biggest game of the weekend is Charlie, Liverpool against Manchester United. Yeah. But would it be fair to suggest it's no longer quite the game that it was, certainly as far as Liverpool are concerned?
Well, I always loved it. In the last 2 seasons, you always throw at you and you say to me on a Saturday, oh, it's first v fifth and first and third v eighth at one stage, I recall. It's still, even though as an Arsenal fan, it's still the one game that I love, especially Anfield. I think it's just the atmosphere of Anfield and the way that I always look back in Fergie time and he always looked as if he was in pain going to Anfield. And if he walked out with a draw, he was absolutely happy, even for all the trophies he won. So I've always looked at that as being the most dynamic game. It's not the most important game anymore, but I think it's the most dynamic game that I've always looked forward to. And I look forward to it again this weekend, but this is a different field in terms of where I see Man United now and where I see Liverpool now. Yeah, it's a giant game, but it's not a kind of derby type situation. I see Liverpool being comfortable this weekend.
Well, I mean, I look back, for instance, at Manchester United's performance at Arsenal not so long ago, and you think, well, how can they possibly hope to compete with a team at Liverpool's level?
I think the biggest problem, well, they're not close to that level. In a one-off game, you can be. Of course, anything can happen in a one-off game. They went to Etihad and beat Manchester City. But derby experience, there's a bit more personal pride in that. It's different when you go to Anfield and you've only got, 4,000 or 5,000 fans and you're on the back foot and you're worried. But it's the change though, Jeff. It's what Solskjaer has to do to this team. He is an attack-minded coach. And now he has to say, do I park the bus, do I block the full-back? Just like we touched on Liverpool last weekend. What do you do with the full-backs? Do you block them? If Rashford is fit, and it doesn't look as if he's going to be, but he's going to block the wide areas, and he's going to hope for the best and say, put crosses in, but put them in with height. We've got the aerial power, so we'll handle that situation, and then you'll need to be clever on the day to take control of the situation. But I just don't think they have the personnel, Manchester United, to handle it.
Could fatigue be a factor as well, Charlie? Because, you know, I know Liverpool have done a lot of travelling, and they went out to Qatar and the such like, but Manchester United have had FA Cup replays, have had League Cup semi-finals. They've had a lot of matches.
Had a lot of matches, and I think when you look at people like Fred, who's done okay, but they give the ball away, and it's tired-looking passes that they make. Matic comes in and doesn't make any extravagant passes, and then all of a sudden, with 30 minutes to go in a game, you can see they're legged, they run with the ball when they should pass the ball. You get that at Anfield, they're going to pick you off. They're going to pick you off good style, and they're going to take care of it rather rapidly. So I don't see anything other than a comfortable Liverpool win.
So in terms of scoreline, what does that translate to?
I went 3-0 Liverpool.
Okay. Well, of course, last week you went for Aston Villa 0, Manchester City 5. You're absolutely miles out.
I was miles out.
Either of them
I thought you would say that.
6-1. Look, Villa are in the bottom three at the moment. With defending like that, can you see them getting out?
That's why I went as high for Manchester City last week, because you don't have a forward. And it's all right some teams, Man City, Liverpool and certain, you can play false nines. No nine. You can go without that. But with Aston Villa, you need an outball, because the only outball they have is Grealish, who's been fabulous. But he's not in an area all the time where you can get support from midfield or the wider areas. And because of that, it keeps coming back at you and keeps coming back at you. And defensively, their decision-making is problematic. They don't make good decisions. They don't work as a unit. And more importantly, the biggest problem I think they have is protection in front of their centre-backs. They went with a back three for wing-backs, but the two in the middle have to protect. Just stay. Don't go. And if that means it's coming back again, then at least you're in a position to handle that. Dean Smith, we know, likes to play attack-minded football, and I appreciate that. But they have to think about defending in shape first and foremost, so I don't fancy them at all this weekend either.
Oh, good. Not another 5-0?
No, I went a narrow win for Brighton. I just think they're strong at home. I like the way they play, but no, it's another defeat. I'm sorry.
Another massive game down at the bottom of the table, of course, is Norwich against Bournemouth.
Oh, what a game.
And it just crossed my mind, could both of these sides be in the Championship next season, but both still with the same managers?
Well, if they both go down, I think they'll both have the same managers. Yes, I do believe that. Eddie Howe's not done a lot wrong, but it's his responsibility. The problem is he's tried to change the organisation and the shape defensively to, I think, maybe 6-7 goals better off than this term last season. But they're not scoring as many goals. When's the last time we spoke about Wilson and Fraser and King? Solanke's been disappointing. So to turn that around, I think he has to go back to basics and say, what are we? We're a team who like to play going forward. Sure, it's open, we take a risk or two. Norwich do the same. I can see nothing but goals in this game. I can't really separate them. I think I ended up going for a 3-3, but I'm not surprised if some winner comes out of this. I think it'll just be a stunning game of football. I think it'll be end-to-end.
Shock to the Bournemouth fan system, I think, that 3-0 loss at home to Watford. Arsenal, of course, got Sheffield United at home, but they haven't got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and we know how prolific he's been. What do they do about replacing him? They've got a few attacking options, haven't they?
They have. I mean, if it was me, I don't think he's going to change the style much. I think Ozil sits behind the front three, which will be Pep, who's got to do much more, and stop diving.
Yes, stand up.
Stand up and take players on. Be commit. I'm not asking you, that's not bravery, that's not courage. That's just getting the ball and making decisions and being someone who wants to take part and do the right things. He's agitating me at the moment because he's gone down rather softly. In fact, too soft. But Lacazette is playing well without getting a goal. Should have scored last weekend, didn't. I would bring Saka in. I think the lad's stuck in at left back. He's left-sided. It's a nice balance rather than Nelson. He's left-sided. He's got a purpose and a pace about him, which Aubameyang has in abundance. Not as good as, I truly admit. Sheffield United are hard to break down. These wing-backs are a real problem for Arsenal. They'll squeeze. I just felt recently, though, after New Year, that pressing game was just slightly off. I know they got a good result last week, but it was just slightly off the pace last Friday. And I just think that Arsenal will pin them in. I'm going for Arsenal to win, and I think Ozil. And come on, Pepe's got to stand up and be counted.
Literally. Now, look, Mauricio Pochettino. He will be back in work next year. We think it probably will be next season now. So, Charlie, I'm going to give you a list, and I'd like you to give me a mark out of 10 as to what the chances are of him being in charge of the clubs that I give you, OK? Yeah. So let's start with the club he's been linked with a lot. Manchester United.
10.
Real Madrid.
2.
Barcelona.
None.
Manchester City.
6.
Atletico Madrid.
None.
Tottenham.
None. Arsenal. None.
Well, no, yeah, it's inevitably going to be an Arsenal none. I think Arteta's definitely a long-term project there, isn't he? That is for sure. 10 Manchester United. There we go. You heard it from Charlie Nicholas, and well, he does get things wrong. 5-0 Villa against Man City. It was never going to happen, was it? 6-4.
It was at one stage. It was 5-0, and you were sweating.
I was worried. I was very worried. Another 10 out of 10 performance from Charlie. We're back on Soccer Saturday tomorrow. See you then.
Take care.